In the year 1920, Ahmed Sharif as-Senussi was offered the position of Ottoman Caliph, but he declined the offer. Al-Sharif as-Senussi was born in the year 1873 in Ottoman Libya. After completing his Islamic studies, Al-Sharif became an influential imam and used his position to call for Islamic unity in the face of European invasions. By the year 1911, Ottoman rule in Libya had collapsed and the Italians invaded the region. Therefore, Sharif as-Senussi contacted the Ottomans and arranged a supply of weapons in order to fight the Italians. He assembled an army of Libyan tribes and began attacking Italian occupation forces. However, in the year 1912, the Ottomans withdrew their support for the Libyans after signing a peace treaty with the Italians. Therefore, Sharif as-Senussi was now on his own. However, he continued his fight against the Italians and stated, "By God, we will fight them even if I am alone with this staff of mine." Sharif as-Senussi's bravery and attitude inspired Muslims around the world to support his cause, and he was eventually able to get support from the Muslims of neighboring Egypt, which was now occupied by the British. However, in the year 1915, the British made peace with the Italians and prevented Egyptians from crossing the border and joining the anti-Italian resistance in neighboring Libya. Despite this setback, Sharif as-Senussi continued his fierce anti-colonial resistance, and in 1915, he launched an attack against the British Army on the Egypt-Libya border and captured multiple towns from the British. As a result of this victory, Sharif as-Senussi's fame spread across the Muslim world, as many Muslims had heard about his heroic resistance against the Italian and British invaders. Therefore, when Sharif as-Senussi was surrounded by Italian and British forces at the end of World War I, he was invited by the Caliph to the Ottoman capital of Istanbul, and he managed to escape the Italians and British by leaving Libya via a submarine sent by the Ottomans. This submarine took Sharif as-Senussi to the Ottoman capital of Istanbul, where he received a hero's welcome. During his time in the Ottoman Empire, Sharif as-Senussi continued his services to the Muslim world, and in 1920 he participated in the Ottoman resistance against the Greek invasion of Anatolia. However, by this time the Ottoman Empire had almost collapsed, as European powers had taken control of most of the empire. Before the Ottoman Caliphate was abolished, Sharif as-Senussi was approached by Mustafa Kemal Ataturk, who offered him the position of Caliph. However, Sharif as-Senussi declined the offer as he disliked Mustafa Kemal's anti-Islamic attitude. Therefore, he left Anatolia and moved to Syria. However, his stay in Syria did not last long, as he was pursued by the occupying French forces who viewed him as a threat. Therefore, Sharif as-Senussi left Syria and traveled to Palestine, which was occupied by the British. During his time in Palestine, Sharif as-Senussi visited the Al-Aqsa Mosque and called on Palestinians to resist British and Zionist colonialism. Therefore, the British tried to arrest him, which forced him to flee further south, until he finally settled in the city of Medina in Saudi Arabia, where he passed away in the year 1933.